Welcome back to the IBLV Dreamers Behind the Showcase with Lens and myself, Jermaine Henry. Today we got Ayrah Taerb.
Salam, shalom, Ayrah Taerb. I was born a Rasta, you can see it in my hair. Yeah. Salam, shalom, Ayrah Taerb. This be my shabbat, this be my shabbat. Yeah. Salam, shalom, Ayrah Taerb. I be feeling hella vibes, it was never fair. Yeah. Salam, shalom, Ayrah Taerb. This be my shabbat, this be my shabbat. They crucified the skin that I am in.
What makes me a dreamer is the fact that I'm still doing this. Like, especially like there's this whole misconception in the hip hop community that like what we do is cool. Like, if this was about being cool, I would have quit this shit a long time ago.
Follow us on IG, IBLV TV. Subscribe to YouTube, IBLV Dreamers.
All links that are Shay linked are going to be in the description. So
Yeah, we'll
just
have
check
it.
for that.
Web in description, we have a link tree. And yeah, take us out. This is Behind the Showcase with Ayrah Taerb. They're always about production. Actually, let's probably stay with that. Start with that. What went into you thinking about the production of the showcase, of what you were going to contribute to the showcase? Because you helped me actually with the music production overall with doing that. You helped with creating that. But then, of course, with your own set. Is that something you thought about first, and then you're like, okay, I'm going to do these songs, or you're like, okay, I have these songs I want to do, and then I'm going to produce around it? Like, what was your process?
I mean, as an executive producer, I was kind of like, or thinking with that hat on at least. It was about, first of all, acknowledging that we had to have live music. Like, the opportunity to do a virtual performance, for me, is just too substantial to, just be fucking around with tracks. At least now, at this point in my career, while I'm still looking to break out of the scene, so to speak. However, when I looked at the rep, I looked at the songs that I had. It was like they were all bricks, they were all cannons, they were all songs where like you're looking for the beat drop, you're looking for the heavy kick, and you're looking for the sub bass to just rip through the speaker. So I didn't want to put all of that responsibility on like a live bass and amp and drum set, So then I said, this is a great opportunity to be innovative on this creative scale and experiment with working with tracks and live sound, which I kind of sort of up until that point haven't done. So and I knew like from a production standpoint, it would be a lot of fun and a lot of work because we'd have to troubleshoot. However, it was an idea worth troubleshooting because of the commitment to the quality of the production, So, shout outs to Corey for coming through. He didn't really have click for a lot of those backing tracks. Shout out to Dave for always being down, and to Keezy for being a pianist / engineer always. Yeah, I really just wanted, and then when it came to the other performances, I just wanted to make sure that, live music was seen and viewed creatively as accessible. Because, at this point, like, especially with quarantine happening, multi-layered, multi-dimensional experiences, like, it's the obvious new norm, Like, the fact that I can go on tour from my living room if I set it up properly is crazy to me. So I want to commit, from this point forward to making that premise as real as as possible and profitable through, just exploring proof of concept. Who's done it well? What did they do? And how do I want to do the same things in my own way,
And it really felt like that's exactly, like, even people didn't, in the final cut, people didn't catch, I don't didn't catch my introduction, you know, to you, to going through, because I literally pretty much said, like, you know, I've known you for I've known you for like about 7 years, and we've been building, but I don't even want to speak on your name. I don't even want to speak and like hype it up too much, because I just felt like you're gonna bring something so real and authentic. That's just who you are, and that's a part of like really integral to your artistry and integral to like even your practice. And you started off literally by just saying, hey guys, and really just inviting community. Like, you're very aware of the virtual experience of like not just the people that are going to be here seeing right now, but like in the future, you know. And this actually, we've actually always kind of had this, but this idea of like legacy, right, of like this is going forward. And then also what we thought of and what we did in the production was lighting. We want to have like, look at right now, like even like look your lighting right now, it's like sick. And even look lens, like got like a sick lighting where you're able to like take us to another place. You even changed
Yeah.
like that theatrical space.
That's what
But
I was gonna just talk about that. I was just
yeah,
gonna
go for
say
it.
like what's like the story or like thought behind that like journey, because essentially, you know, it was the same lighting and stuff during the rest of the performances, and you were closer to the end of the Toronto side of it. So during the end of it, it kind of like you kind of took us away. You transformed the stage, your lighting and all of that. I think even your appearance too. So like, yeah, I just wanted to know like what the thought behind that was and what that added to the story or like journey process of your performance.
Yeah, for sure. I actually wanted to do more. It's unfortunate that we weren't able to get as much um darkness, mainly because I think that, you know, being able to pull the LED out of the room by, you know, shutting off, you know, all the other lights, like it really, I feel like the what it does to the brain is it's just it. So I ran this experiment. I lived in an apartment. I rented an apartment for the summer, and I only used LED lights. All like this is from natural light, the sun, to green LED lights. You know, always. And I found that sleeping was harder. I found that, you know, not creating was harder. I found that feeling like I was somewhere different was it was a consistent reality for me. Like um if I'm you know, like my inner child felt like I was stepping into a spaceship every time that like I came home. I think that with LED lights, they hit the eye so intensely that you have to, it subconsciously prepares you for something abnormal to happen. You know, 90% of, you know, our human experiences outside of, you know, nightclubs and laser quests, you got white lights on. So now all of a sudden you got like black light or blue light or green LED light. It's kind of like, okay, something different's about to happen, you know. I think that what I was aiming to do was bring the intensity um out of the moment through the lighting, to narrate really deep emotions that I don't think the words and my energy could highlight by itself. Because even though I've done that before as an artist, you know, been overly theatrical and overly emotive, it can be polarizing and even frightening to some audiences, because it's just a really deep space. It's a really involved space. It's a really triggering space. So, you know, thinking about the fact that, you know, kind of, I think we've all, to certain degrees, acknowledged the necessity of going commercial. I wanted to do something that I thought was marketable and accessible enough to excite people who like pop, hip hop, trap music, and also, you know, emotionally involved and creatively deep enough to really pull the curiosity out of, I guess, a more mature audience sonically and creatively as well, you know. That was the goal with the lighting, and, you know, the next time we do it, I'm for sure going to be a lot more prepared to execute that more efficiently, you know.
Word. And that's the, I guess that's the piece about um, having concepts and having a certain budget that we had, you know, and like prototyping and really just practicing and learning what are those things that are going to bring people in into that experience that's going to take them outside of like their regular human experience, right? So like whether you're a mainstream artist or whether you be a community artist, that's really a lot of like the point of art is like trying to get people to feel and kind of like maybe tap into more of their experience or tap into another experience. And that's such interesting about you. It's like it did sound like a very new sound, you know, a very new sound in it, but also a new flows, like the flows that you tapped into. But then also you're right, it was very dark even in your content and even what you're talking about. Um, but also um this is maybe I don't know. I might be going off a little bit right now, but even just in the Dreamers, recently we've been having conversations, and with each person, it seems like everyone is tapping into embracing their shadow self. So it's like embracing the full sides of yourself, not just one area. And it seemed like um, you're able to do that and bring us to a high place, but able to like be grounded and centered in like trying to uplift, you know, is like, yeah, we're going through, but we're actually block boys, you know, like block boys, and you actually even have your partner in there coming through with Matt. So how was that for you?
Yeah, me and my niggas on the way. Yeah, me and my niggas on the way. Yeah, me and my niggas on the way. Yeah, yeah. God bless Yahweh on my way. Yahweh on my way. Yahweh on my way. Skirting all of that highway. Yahweh on my way. Yahweh on my way. Yahweh on my way. Skirting all of that. God bless Yahweh on my way. Yahweh on my way. Yahweh on my way. Skirting all of that highway. Yahweh on my way. Yahweh on my way. Yahweh on my way. Skirting all of that. Hey, yo, my P.O. band, put the city on span. Yeah, 20 put in them ends in my bank account. Do it again, bring more to the ends. Give them more than a chance. Wanna say sunny again. Telling them feeding them girls, cause every verse is just like out.
Yahweh or My Way. So that's actually like the last actually no, it's not the last song, but it's one of the songs that you have in there. You actually do a music video for it. That And I was talking even before we started recording about like you think about thinking bigger and that feeling like yo a big budget production of a track, and it seems like you're really on that wave. Do you want to speak more on Kundalini currency?
Very briefly, for those who don't know, um, Kundalini currency currently exists as um, uh, an arts collective based in the city of Toronto with a mandate that is centered around and completely hyper focused on creative and cooperative economics among Black communities specifically. Um, right now, you know, we want to be a label. When we introduce ourselves to the world corporately, we probably will be a label. Up until this fall, um, I've been using the idea, the concept, and the organization as a creative consulting firm. Um, so when you see the logo, because you will, whether you see it on a quarter bag of weed or a T-shirt or someone's car or at the end of a video, like wherever you see it, just understand that that is an emblem, an icon that signifies the continual commitment and expansion to Black people finding value in each other without the money that they gave us. The money that they gave us will definitely be involved, and there's going to be lots of it. However, that's not where it begins, and it's not where it ends for us. You know, it begins and ends for us in the value of the product of our existence and the service that flows from that. And the research and investment and love that is involved in deciding how that can be used and leveraged with mutual benefit for all parties. You know, now you take that concept and you apply it to the song Yahweh My Way. Um, I'm not gonna lie. I was in a pretty fucked up place, and I say that not because of what was going on in my life. I say that because of my attitude. I was in a place in life where I act because I couldn't. I didn't really value happiness. You know what I mean? That song, when I wrote that song, like, you know how people talk about happiness like it's the most important thing in the world, like the pursuit of happiness. You know what I mean? Like, don't do what doesn't make you happy. You know, my where happiness should be, I had exhilaration, which meant like the feeling of like we're gonna die, but like we didn't. And if we push a little harder and we push a little further, we can keep proving that death can't touch us. Like that's where my head was at. Like there was no greater feeling in life than beating death by doing like the craziest, most riskiest shit and surviving like whoa that just happened. Um and because that was my attitude, whether I was driving like a madman on the highway or buying orange juice at the grocery store, my attitude kind of just became like literally, if it's not like the will of the creator of the whole universe, then I'm doing whatever the fuck I want. Unless you can like bring the tablets down from Mount Sinai or like cause lightning to strike the earth before me and that sets the blazing bush on fire. If you can't do that, then you can't tell me what the fuck to do, you know? That was my whole energy, the whole shit when I was making that song, when I was recording that album. Like I was just navigating the world with that attitude. You know what I mean? Nobody could tell me nothing unless they could prove that like it came from and when people did, because there were times when people did, it was like, yo, this is a message from God. Like, I humble myself and I listen. But if they couldn't prove that shit, like I was like, bruh, I'm doing what I want to do, you know? And with the video specifically, as a director, as a music video director, I was just fed up with the industry, dog. Cause like if you look at it, everybody that I know up until now, like, I mean, I've seen it happen now, and the amount of things, the amount of love that it's taken, the amount of trust, the amount of time that it's taken for that shit to happen now, the amount of suffering that it's taken for that shit to happen now, it's great. However, like, it's not feasible for me to recommend that for any other artist. However, like, my problem with the industry was like, those are the only guys who don't take a pay cut. You could be the most fire songwriter, lyricist, rapper. At some point, you're probably gonna lay a whole album down for free, and you're okay with that because music shit is a labor of love. And the same shit goes for producers. The best producer I met has never let me buy a beat from him once. you know? And I feel like the same, when you get up there in terms of not just your age, but your proficiency and your efficiency in negotiating and navigating the scene and the industry, the same thing happens from time to time with engineers. Like, I mean, I've had, not that like it's a practice that I prescribe, but I've had my shit mixed for free and I've had my shit mastered for free. I don't doubt it will happen again. Those are rare occurrences, I mean, and they're home runs when they happen. However, yeah, I've lived to see my engineer take a pay cut. I've outside of like the past maybe month, I've never lived to see a cinematographer take a pay cut. Them niggas want standard market rate every time they hold the camera. And to be honest, like I've gotten used to it. I don't have a problem with it. My problem is when they do that and they refuse to assume creative responsibility and investment in the post-production process, which means that as a rapper, I chose to be a music video director, not because I thought that was my calling, but because I wanted to make sure that what I put on camera was a clear reflection of what I saw when I was writing lyrics. That's the only reason, for a higher creative accountability to my own process. So I, as the rapper, wrote the treatment, found the budget, paid you in advance or on the day of, probably produced the shit because you didn't get shit. You just brought your camera and thought everything else would be taken care of. So yeah, I directed and produced the shit, casted everybody, made sure that costumes and lighting and sound was on point, all of that shit. And I'm paying out the nose to do it because niggas don't get grants because fuck that shit unless they know that the political alignment is there and the respect is there and they know and they acknowledge that it's money that's owed to us already. You know what I mean? So I'm going through all of that and then making sure that everything goes smoothly the day of. And then we come out with a video, whether it's top class or not. And like I upload it, and you don't want to say nothing about it as the person who shot it and edited it, you know? And so I just reached a point this summer where I was like, fuck it, I'm not doing it. I'm going to call a guy who's affordable. I'm going to tell him to show up at this place at this time. I'm going to tell him what to shoot, and I'm going to take care of the rest. And I did that with Yahweh My Way. Was my first time doing that, you know? I called homie, picked him up in the rental, and we just drove. And he stuck his camera out the window, and that's what we got. No treatment.
Yo, lit. So like hopefully if it's cool with you, people need to check it out. We'll even put like a little clip of it, just like, yo, check it out. You know what I mean? We gotta support, as Ozzy would say.
Yeah.
But like for creatives, like this is good for people to even just be in this conversation. For Lens, like it's good for you to be in this conversation as a young creative, you know. Lens, do you have anything that like on your mind that you're trying to catch?
I do. I really do, man. And you know, it's usually you that asks this question, but I'm gonna do it anyways. But did you what was your reaction while watching the showcase event live or when it premiered? Just because it was, I don't know, it was odd for some people. I know I've watched myself after I performed, and some people didn't get to see their take until the day of. So just like, what was that experience like for you, you know?
It was nerve-wracking. It was nerve-wracking because I'm a very emotional performer, and I think that's where a lot of my confidence comes from, the fact that I put it all out there. However, I knew, you know, A, you've never done this before. And B, I'm a stickler for high quality recording. And I felt like I didn't have to worry about that as a performer because it's live. You're not recording it. You know, your pure self, your rawest, most emotional, vulnerable self is enough. However, now when you introduce a DSLR and a recording system that's going to put you into a DAW, which means that you can get mixed after, you might as well be in the studio. Now the stage is the studio, you know, and that's a whole other like mindfuck, fourth, fifth dimensional creative acknowledgement that you have to make. So when I was watching it, like I simultaneously was anxious about all that I knew wouldn't be perfect. And, you know, at the same time, like patting myself on the back for deciding to take it that far. Because like I told the whole squad, this is a prototype. You know what I mean? Like this is like our first attempt, our first shot at a blueprint of the master plan, is how I looked at it. And insofar as that's concerned, like the showcase served its function. I think as a performer, I had the opportunity to see how if I let loose a little bit more, my energy would be made more accessible to the viewer, not just the audience. Now we got viewers because it's virtual. However, I also think that, you know, that's really just about setup. There were songs that I performed that day that didn't make the premiere, and I'm happy that they didn't because I understand why they didn't. However, they also served very important creative functions for the set. And so I think that when I watched it, it was kind of like, normally when I see some shit that I don't like in one of my shows, I'm like, fuck, bro. Like, how the fuck did we let that happen, bro? Again? Like, I can't stand this shit. And this time it was more like, I'm so happy because when we change this, it's gonna come so much harder. You know, I had that feeling because like it felt like a science project. You know, you got a nigga on the keyboard with FL open, you know what I mean, running out of fucking KRKs linked to fucking like stage monitors, you know what I mean, simultaneous to a drummer who's got a live kit and like a click in his headphones that may or may not be working. However, you can trust him to be on time because he's got the best bass player in the city beside him, and he's playing along to a backing track with no percussion, which means that he can hear tempo. Like that's some mad scientist shit to me, especially with how under resourced we were. So like I'm just happy you got the chance to do it. Most niggas don't get the chance to do that shit till they on tour, till they sign, you know, and we're doing that now. And I think that that means that it just implies so much creative independence for the future, you know.
And give thanks. Like I actually like big ups to the band again, and big ups to you for like really recruiting and make sure we got like the best musician, like really top musicians in the city. And like I feel real privileged that in our legacy of the creative work that we've done with the different creative collectives that we've had, incredible bands, you know, um, and the production level that we're able to do with like low resources, but like having high resources of human resources and social capital and relationships, and what can we do further, you know, and that's what we're learning, you know. But big ups to you and big ups to Corey, big ups to Dave, big ups to Keys, yo, Wagner, like being literally doing the live engineering while on keys is like hilarious. But also this is why we got to be doing and having the conversation about like going through the process of doing the virtual showcase, reviewing it with people, premiering it, and then talking about it and like, yo, let's keep this momentum going and we're going to do a bigger and better showcase next time. You know what I'm saying? With all these learnings. Um, Lens,
Are you cool
I,
if I say something real quick?
I want you to say something real quick.
Okay,
I need you
so
to.
I think we're approaching soonly the end of our time, but I just thought about this because at this point, me and Jermaine have done like what I think this is my fourth, fifth, sixth interview, right? Something like that. And I haven't really thought about this, and I feel like I should have been asking people this. So you're gonna be the first one, but like you said before, it's no longer an audience, it's now viewers because we did this thing online instead of in person, which means that at any point in time, anyone either surfing the internet or by word of mouth or whatever can go check this out in their free time. So I'm saying, where do you see this showcase? Like, let's not think that we're doing another one. Let's just think that this showcase specifically, where do you think this is going to be in maybe 5 years view wise and IBLV as a whole, like the collective?
For the heavy, you know, art scene folk in the city who were around and in their 20s and spending money in the local economy, you know, say 2010 to 17. You know, when Spoken Heard was out and about and doing their thing, and you know, they were avant-garde enough to charge niggas $20 at the door because they knew the value of the production quality, and people paid and showed up. Black people, you know, from various demographics. Um, there was an era of media content they generated that was pretty large, where it was just like some of the best performances that you'll find just chilling on YouTube at like 500, 700, 1,000 views. Um, and then eventually it became so many of them that there were some of them would sit at 200, you know. I think that these are those for us because the media that we're about to generate is going to be substantially more powerful. And so, like, you know, when our views hit M's, you know, everything else is going to be freaking at like 10 racks just because. Like, one of the most viral, songs, music videos on on YouTube right now is that TDE Ab Soul joint Turn Me Up. It's like they don't ever do that shit. You ain't never gonna hear that shit on the radio. But just because everything else blew up so crazy, it's like even the shit that they did when they were ass out, you know, is gonna have weight to it. And I think that if I look at what we did as that, like we surpassed, you know, the benchmark 100 times over because like I said, this is like the baby wobbling on the foam puzzle piece, trying to take its first step to me, you know. I had to know that we're poised to be, you know, that creatively advanced for the future. It's exciting because now, like I said, I know I'm doing my job when I'm not just thinking like a rapper nigga. Like when somebody plays a beat and I can see the treatment for the video simultaneous to the virtual live show experience, simultaneous to the social media rollout, simultaneous to how it's presented on DSPs and what playlists we get into. That's why I know I'm doing my job, you know. So like it gave me another avenue to think about because now it's not like, can we do that? It's like, oh, we did that. How now this time it's gonna be better. What things for sure are gonna be better based on how dope this track sounds and the opportunities for new viewership that we want to necessitate, you know.
Yo, that's live. Like, it's funny that we're talking today, and we're gonna wrap this up. And thanks for everyone for taking this in. And I'm gonna be asking for sure if you have anything you want to share that people know about. But when I'm thinking about the legacy piece, right, of like certain things that turn me up with TDE, is like those things will never happen again. But they kept on going. You know, they kept on going, and like they kept on perfecting what they're doing, and also had more of a story, you know, more of a story. And there's something about for I think about when we're talking about like Rhapsody, you know, we're talking about Rhapsody in the booth, and we're even talking about like, yo, Dipset. Like there's something about like crews and collectives, and I was thinking about it for myself. Like I've been a part of different collectives, and it's really powerful what you can do with getting the combination of creative energy, right, of like even emotional support, and then as well as like new audiences, you know, and to help us to go forward. And I think we're really privileged to have you to be a part of it, to push us, you know, with your creative energy. And like whoever didn't, like you need to go back and you need to take in Ashay's performance, Ayrah Taerb and Matt Somber. Then you need to take in the performance, high energy, it'll give you that energy. And then also take in the music videos and just keep on following the story. Um, any places where you want people to follow you or to look out for? I know you got music, Pagan Child, that just got onto DSPs. But anything else you want to plug before we
Yo,
go?
so for those of y'all who don't know, which I'm sure are many, AYRAHTAERB is how you spell Ayrah Taerb. You can follow that on Instagram. Also, make sure that you follow Kundalini Currency on Insta as well. We're about to launch our YouTube channel in 2021. Please look out for that. And really take a look at, you know, all the videos on the Ayrah Taerb YouTube channel because we've done a lot and we've done a lot to set ourselves up to do more. And I'm saying we, even though like as a brand, it's kind of just me right now because like it was always, the vision was always bigger. And if you listen to the music, like the whole Pagan Child album is on YouTube right now, like an extended deluxe version of it at that, you know. And I think that the reason why that's important for me to note is because the amount of sonic crafting that I've committed to has always necessitated, you know, other ears and other skill sets and other forms of expertise. And I choose all that shit wisely. Like I choose all of my shit on purpose. So when you're going through the credits and you look at who shot my videos, who's made my beats, who's on my features, um, like just know that like everybody was handpicked for a purpose. And this Kundalini currency idea that we're building out, like it's not counterculture, it's neo culture. How I've been thinking, I feel like what used to slow me down, I thought the past was what happened. I thought the present was now, and I thought the future was, you know, what's gonna happen tomorrow. The past is actually now. By the time you reference now, it's the past. You know, the present is like what's right about to happen. When like you see the nigga cock back and you know he's about to slap you in the face, so you duck. That's present, but you're only present because you saw it before it happened. You know, and like the future, the future is only what you know is gonna happen based on the self determination and the foresight that you have in the present. You know, so if you know the nigga's winding back to backhand you and you know you're going to duck it and you're going to hit him with a right hook, like that's only the future because you're present, So like present and future kind of go hand in hand. If you're really in the present, you're actually in the future. And like, I'm a archaic ass nigga. Like, um, it took me like 11 years to get on Instagram. I'm like, they talk about early bloomers, and late bloomers. For a long time, I was a late bloomer, especially technologically speaking, when it came to trends. Like, when Offset and Migos and Drake came out with Versace, I was like, these guys are buffoons. I was like, these guys are idiots. These guys are killing hip hop. That whole, the South kill hip hop shit. I bought into that, as a purist, and I was just a fucking teenager. I'm watching my homies have fun, and I'm like, yo, these guys are moving like degenerates. Fast forward to 2019, I think that Offset's Father of Four is one of the most underrated rap masterpieces of all time. And like, I listen to that shit religiously, So I'm saying all this to say that, in the year 2020, I set the intention to like really, really be current, even if it was only for a year, A lot of people view me as like a caveman, a dude who just like hangs out in saunas and meditates and shows on bluffs and shit, which I used to do. I told myself like 2020, I would go all in and like really experience society. And if there's anything that it's taught me, it's like, yeah, bro, the past is happening now. The present is right around the corner, literally. And the future is only as much as you know based on how you're about to respond to what's right around the corner. And so in that case, like, it's like it's kind of sort of all happening at the same time, And with that being said, like, what's happening now is that like we as like a counterculture to the industrial machine that's running the city, like we about to blow up. We don't know who and we don't know what they're gonna sell and we don't know how we're gonna respond and how the money's gonna get circulated during quarantine and how we're gonna get the fans to have access to it and whether or not they're gonna share the wealth with the community and the shine with the squad. However, we know we about to blow up. There's way too many cultures that are viewed as countercultures because they haven't had, appropriate representation, within the context of what it means to be from the city as an artist, a commercial artist. There's way too many of those for like something not to explode, like everything from like niggas making 6 drill in Malvern to like, hipsters deciding that it's okay for them to be rappers, like there's just so much that happening that is not OVO and EXO for something not to explode before 2023. So all we got to do is ask ourselves how we want to be positioned when that all goes down. You feel me?
Yeah, there's something about that of like, I really think Toronto has such a greater market. More and more people are seeing how valuable art is and how valuable different artists are, and not just like what you hear on the radio, but like hearing your local artists. Or like one thing about even like my little bro here with Lens is like he listens to funk, and that's a whole even new like genre, I'm saying it, but having that niche and having something that you can that's accessible to you if you look for it, And I think now with what we're doing and as we try to build this is like have opportunities for people to access and to see it, So we're about to go, but Lens, anything you wanna share? Last words. I don't know if you have some new music. I actually think it'd be dope if you and Ashay did a track together, have some funk and some six drill. That'd be interesting.
That'd be hard.
That'd be hard for sure. Yeah. I don't know about music. I may release one more thing before 2021, but 2021, I'm gonna try to keep it more consistent for y'all. So yeah, but you know, I'm Lens everywhere. So anywhere you look me up, it's just Lens. So yeah, that's it. It's been a blast with the Dreamers here. Yeah, now Jermaine, any last words from you?
Yeah, I'm just gonna say follow us on IG, IBLV TV. Subscribe to YouTube, I Believe Dreamers.
All
Make
links
sure-
that Ashay linked are going to be in the description. So
Yeah, we'll
just
have
check
it.
for that.
Web in description, web a link tree. And yeah, take us out. This is Behind the Showcase with Shoutout Ayrah Taerb, Lens, and Jermaine Henry. One love, y'all. Peace, wellness, and balance.
Cause they know that I am cherubim. Yeah. I no longer feel the need to sin. Cause I know that I am really him. Yeah. His Imperial Majesty reborn. It's be my Shabbat, yeah. His Imperial Majesty reborn. It's be my Shabbat,